Hi guys! Today we're here in the UCC office and my name is Yevheniia Rimikhanova and I'm here with Maria Ovcharenko. She's a recent alumna of Parliamentary Internship Program and she's here to share some of her experience. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so before we dive into the program, I want to ask you a couple of questions about your life here. So I know you were born in Ukraine, but how did you end up being here? What's your background? What was your childhood like, being a part of diaspora here?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mom was actually Canadian. She was born in Ottawa, and then she ended up going back to Ukraine for her master's. That's where she met my dad. My dad's Ukrainian, and then my grandparents on my mother's side are also Ukrainian. So I was born in Kyiv, in Ukraine, and I moved back to Canada with my mom and dad in late 2002, early 2003. So I grew up in Edmonton in the Ukrainian diaspora. I went to a Ukrainian Catholic school. The elementary school had a really good Ukrainian program, as well as the junior high and the high school. So Edmonton has a fantastic Ukrainian community. The Ukrainian Canadian, the Ukrainian bilingual program was a really big part of like my upbringing and tying back to my Ukrainian culture. I still speak Ukrainian with my mom and dad and sister. And I was also part of PLAST, which is a Ukrainian scouting organization, and that helped a lot also with my just tying back to the Ukrainian community and my involvement with the diaspora.
Wow, amazing. I'm really grateful to your parents that they were able, to kind of like move out from Ukraine, but still show you the Ukrainian values and Ukrainian culture. And I know that you speak Ukrainian really well, so that's amazing that people still do that. They move from other countries, but they make sure that the cultural background is with their children.
Yeah, I think that's like a really good thing about Canada too, because of the multiculturalism aspect of our country, and it's inscribed in the Constitution and everything like that. And I think it's so important for anybody who moves outside of any country to be able to come and practice their culture and language and religion in Canada. So it's a really nice tie back to their heritage and everything. So I'm really, really grateful for that opportunity, for sure.
That's very true. Canada is very multicultural and has so many amazing opportunities to kind of like, remember and pursue it living here.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you study when you finished high school?
Yeah, I kind of have an interesting journey there. I thought, as most, I think, immigrant families think, that their children are going to go into sciences. I thought I was going to be a doctor. I thought I was going to be a neurosurgeon. And then in my first year of university, I realized that that wasn't it wasn't right for me. And I started looking outward into like the social sciences. So I landed on political science. I took that as an elective in my first year, loved it, realized I was really good at it, and decided to make that my major, and then I minored in psychology. So I went to the University of Alberta, first year in sciences, and then I graduated in 2023, last year, with a Bachelor of Political Science.
Wow, that's quite a journey.
Yeah, so, quite a jump.
But honestly, I think it's a very good combination of political sciences and psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you a really good perspective of who's who,
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was like, I loved my educational experience, for sure.
So we're here today in Ottawa office of UCC, and how did you end up in Ottawa?
Yeah, good question.
Tell us more.
I know, right? Going all the way from Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta to Ottawa was quite the move. But I discovered the UCC Parliamentary Internship Program, which I know we're here to talk about. So the UCC stands for the Ukrainian Canadian Congress, and it is the largest organization of representation of Ukrainians outside of, or in Canada and outside of Ukraine itself. So they offer a parliamentary internship program for recent graduates, and I applied. There was an extensive nationwide search. I was lucky enough to be chosen as a successful candidate, and I made the move last September. I did the internship from September to December in 2023, and yeah, and I think you're going to ask me a few questions about what I did afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I started. So I entered in the Office of Member of Parliament Shuvaloy Majumdar for Calgary Heritage. So the way that works is the UCC hires an intern, and I'm on their payroll, and that's all funded by the UCC Educational Trust. So they put me on their payroll, and then they place an intern into an office of a member of parliament. And it switches from party to party, from year to year, so it's not just, it's a nonpartisan position. And then basically the office of the MP has an intern for free for 4 to 10 months. And I, depending on the office, there are various jobs and opportunities and whatnot, roles and responsibilities, I guess. So what was unique about my placement was that this was a newly elected MP. He was one of the newest elected during a by-election. So the office was just freshly getting set up. So I got to see, and I actually write about this in my internship report that any of the listeners can find online. If you search up my name or UCC Parliamentary Internship Program. I talk about the development of the new office, which was incredibly interesting, also really stressful. It was insane. But I really gained an appreciation for members of parliament and the institution of government, and it was just such an incredible opportunity, and I was so grateful to be able to witness it and be a part of it.
Sure. You say lucky, it's not the word here. Honestly, it's not the word. You are a hardworking young woman, and I'm sure that the people who were selecting you, they saw it. So speaking of the application process, what is it like? How does it work?
Yeah, good question. First of all, thank you. But it's also not as intimidating as somebody might think. It's very accessible. The application program is on a savable form on the UCC website.
Savable?
Yeah, savable. You can definitely come back to it. But I would say for anybody listening, if you do want to apply, definitely give yourself enough time, because it's an extensive application process, and you want to have enough time and to be able to think about your answers and to really put enough effort into it. That being said, it's not overwhelming, it's not undoable. So sorry, remind me of the question.
Yeah, it's the application process.
Yeah, the application process is just to go on the website, click the application form, fill out the questions. There will be questions about your involvement in the Ukrainian community or in just your community in general, your interest in politics as a career, your desire to learn about the public service and why you want to join the internship program, what you think you can gain from it, what you think you can offer to it, and questions like that. And then you have an interview with previous alumni of the internship program, with the director of the UCC, Yevheniia Rimikhanova, and a few other board members. And then after the interview, there will be reference checks. So you put 2 to 3 references, and then you'll be selected, hopefully, and then you'll make the move to Ottawa if you're not already here.
Okay, cool. So what did you work on, if you're able to share something about that?
Yeah, for sure. I had a really interesting, I had a great experience in my internship. I worked on correspondence from the constituency. I worked on help drafting question period questions and committee work. My member was on the health committee, so I did a lot of work on research and just, I guess, drafting questions, as I mentioned. I did a lot of scheduling, and my member is very well connected, or was, I mean, he is, but he's not my member anymore. But,
Sure.
So he's very well connected, and that was a challenge, but an exciting one, trying to balance requests coming in from all of the stakeholders that want to meet with him and the parliamentary duties that he had on the Hill. There were also speeches, meetings, other requests that I had to deal with, and then independent research projects. So it was a really good mix of administrative work and legislative work that I think anybody interested in the way politics works and the way partisan politics works, the way the federal government works, anybody interested in that would definitely get to see a first-hand account of it. And I think it's such a valuable experience that I developed so many skills that I'm now able to take into, the, not to say the real world, but my journey after the internship program.
From what I heard, it sounds like you did have a good grasp of, what parliamentary work looks like. I hope everyone who decides to apply to this video, they are inspired from your experience. But tell us a little bit more, what happened next? Mm-hmm. What did this program or this journey lead you to?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. So it's really a great opportunity because it's meant to catapult you into what you want to do next. So I know that previous interns, not all of them ended up having positions on the Hill as staffers. Some of them did. And some of them went on to work in the CRA, the Canada, the Global Affairs Canada, sorry, I was thinking of the acronym GAC, Global Affairs Canada, onto other independent private companies and stuff, but it's meant to kind of open the door for you. So for myself, I had a few plans to go traveling afterwards, so I had a little bit of an interim break, but I just got an offer from the new Alberta office that opened up in Ottawa, and I got hired as their executive support administrative position, so I'm really excited about that. That's a new development for me. But the networking opportunities that come from the internship program are so vast and just limitless. I still, I have very close ties with my colleagues from the office. I talk to them weekly. They're very interested and invested in my success in Ottawa and just in my career in politics in general. So I'm, very grateful for that. And I think anybody wanting to apply shouldn't even worry about the, the time commitment, because the UCC is also invested in the success of their interns. So generally the program lasts anywhere between 4 to 10 months, 10 months being the maximum. But if an intern does find a position, full-time employment on the Hill or otherwise, then the UCC definitely encourages that, and that's ultimately the goal, right? To get yourself established in Ottawa.
True. Sorry, just for the listeners who are not sure what UCC means from previous programs, I'll mention that UCC is Ukrainian Canadian Congress, and if you're interested to get to know about them and their work, they can Google them online after the interview.
Thanks for that.
So you said you're going to work. So what's like the next plan with the work and with the maybe future commitments like that are connected to politics or career in politics?
Sure, yeah. So this is it's a nonpartisan position for an executive administrator at the new Alberta office that opened up in Ottawa. So the job description is kind of similar to what I did at the office of MP Majumdar. So that's awesome, right? I get to use the skills that I developed during this internship in my new role as this executive support. I'm going to be doing some scheduling, doing some administrative work, and also just building connections between the Alberta government and the federal government, the Alberta government and other stakeholders in Ottawa and internationally. I'm really excited about it.
Sounds exciting, and sounds like it's going to open up even more windows for you. I'm sure that people who are interested in pursuing career in politics should definitely apply for Parliamentary Internship Program with UCC. But now I wanted to ask you another question that is a bit far from the internship, closer to kind of like your personal experiences in life. So I know you've been traveling for a while lately. Where was it? I know, but I want our listeners to know too.
It's a good question. I went to Nepal to do the Everest Base Camp Trek with one of my best friends who also was in PLAS, the Ukrainian scouting organization. We've been friends since elementary school. She's also in the Ukrainian community, and this was planned before I even got the internship, because having to plan flights and accommodation, you had to do that ahead of time. So the UCC was very open to including that in my contract and just recognizing that I had this planned. So it was kind of like a gap year after I graduated, a gap year in 2 months. So we did the Everest Base Camp Trek at the end of December over New Year's, and then we kind of rewarded ourselves after that, and we went to Thailand, and then I went just traveling across Thailand. We did some islands, and it was such an amazing experience. I really miss it. I think about it a lot. And I'm actually writing an article about the trek itself, the Everest Base Camp Trek, in Ukrainian for the Plastowy Szlach. It is a Ukrainian article, a Ukrainian journal that publishes articles by Plast members for Plast members. So if anybody is interested in that and can read Ukrainian, then they're welcome to read that when it comes out.
It sounds like an amazing journey, honestly, and I am already trying to kind of remember everything you're saying to plan that and some of my trips in future. But why did you pick that direction? Like out of anywhere, being a young woman, probably having traveled, but not everywhere. So why that direction?
Good question. So that really stems from my involvement in PLAST and the development and the role that it played in my personal development. PLAST has a really big emphasis on just the wilderness, and so that's where the scouting element comes in. So ever since I was young and joined PLAST, since I was like 6 years old, we would do summer camps, and then when I turned 12 and I transferred from it's called Novactvo to Junactvo. For the English listeners, that's like, you know, sorry for trying to translate this. It's kind of a
new and youthful.
Yeah. So from the younger age category being, you know, ages 4 to 11, and then the next one being 12 to 18. In that middle category, you're then allowed to go sleep in tents instead of in cabins. So I did a lot of hiking trips, a lot of canoe trips overnight. We did backcountry camping, and I really developed a love for hiking, camping, the nature. Alberta has just gorgeous geography. We went into the Rocky Mountains. We also went to Algonquin Park doing canoe trips here in Ontario. So I've really had just a really great experience with Canada's geography, learning about that. And that really fueled my love for being outside nature. So when this question of this Everest Base Camp came up, my friend actually did most of the planning. So shout out to Maria, because she was amazing. We went with the Intrepid company, and they did, you know, most of the itinerary planning, because they have their own local Nepali employees there who, you know, schedule everything from the huts to the food to the equipment and to the Sherpas that helped us out. So just the opportunity came up and we were like, why not seize the day? So it was just unbelievable, and I would recommend anybody who's like on the fence about anything really just to go do it, because making the decision is the hardest thing. I think Amelia Earhart said that the initial decision is the hardest part, and the rest is just tenacity. I'm definitely paraphrasing, but I really like living by that, right? So just take the leap, and the rest is just it'll happen.
Future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I feel like it's an amazing note to finish this interview as a little inspiring side note for everyone who is, you know, going through their, I don't know, 20s or middle crisis or whatever they're going through, to kind of like just dream and just try things, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences about traveling and about the internship and about your political career plans. We hope all of that works out for you, and hopefully we'll see you or hear from you on radio further at some point.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.